So I welcome you all to this session. Today is the last session in this series. And Dr. Apte will talk about kitchen pharmacy, spices through the eye of Ayurveda. So without any delay, I will hand it over to Dr. Apte.
Okay. Thank you, Hema, and thank you all. As I said, mentioned to you, this is a long weekend, but still all of you are joining me. So I really see that you are more interested in this topic and all, and that gives me more encouragement to talk about these things more. So let's pray. Let's start and say the chant. So everybody close your eyes. Take a deep, long breath. With each inhalation, balloon the belly. With each exhalation, pull the belly in. And continue breathing. Observe your breath. Feel that when you are exhaling, your body is completely relaxed. And when you inhale, body is a little tense. And now observe your mind. And as your mind is holding on to the breath, it slows down, becomes more peaceful and calm and tranquil. And in that peace, I'm going to create the sound of Om and I'm going to chant. Sarvepi sukhinas santu. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhave. Om Shanti. 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 May all be happy. May all be healthy. May all see the reality behind life. May there be no pain or suffering in the universe. May there be peace at the physical level, peace at emotional level, and peace at spiritual level. And keeping this peace within, gently open your eyes. And namaste, everybody. So today we are on the last seminar. Time just flies. And all these Sundays in May, what we saw is how Ayurveda looks at life very differently, or health very differently. And that's why Ayurveda, along with the science, but it is an art of living. And if you follow this art of living, Ayurveda will give life to your living. And what does it mean? That everybody lives. As we are born, we live. But giving a life to that living is having the quality of life. It's not only that I'm living, but I'm having more energy and I feel very happy. I'm always doing something to achieve the goal. I'm doing something for the society. So overall, we are having that peace or balance at all these three levels of our existence. And that we call as a quality of life. And we all saw that it's very simple, it's not difficult, but we need to be disciplined to follow all these tips. And first weekend, I told you how we are connected to the nature and how the same nature's energies control our body too. That is the foundation of Ayurveda is the Vata, Pitta and Kapha, the water energy, the fire energy, the wind energy and all. Then we talked about the food. Let my food be my medicine. The third weekend we talked about dinacharya. And dinacharya is following the daily routine. And that means doing the right thing at the right time. And we all know that doing right time is very, very important. And Ayurveda has revealed all the mother nature secret of when is kapha time, pitta time, vata time, and how we can use it to best to improve the quality of our life. And last weekend we talked about the Rutucharya. And Rutucharya, as I told you, is the fine tuning of Dinacharya. Because we are doing the same thing. We are going to get up, we are going to eat food, we are going to exercise, we are going to work, we are going to go to bed and all that. But based on the season, what would you eat? What kind of exercise would you do? What kind of clothes will you wear? What kind of perfume will you wear? Everything depends on the season. And we all Indian people also know that in our music also, we have these morning ragas and afternoon ragas and evening ragas and all that. And certain ragas are sung at particularly that time of the day is kind of creating the balance with the nature. And that's what in Rutucharya we talked about, that late winter and spring is the kapha time. Millions of people have allergies, mucus, congestion, and all that. So how you can balance that or prevent those problems by following kapha balancing diet and lifestyle. During summertime, you start eating more seasonal sweet fruits and have a bowl of salad, cut down on spices and all that. So you can create the balance with summer season and you can prevent most of those issues. And when it comes to fall, is the vata predominant time. So vata is cold and dry. So start eating warm foods. Instead of salad, eat a soup. Instead of eating very cooling fruits like watermelon, cantaloupe, start eating nuts. Start eating seasonal fruit like persimmon, pomegranate, and all those kind of things. So when you change accordingly, you will really see that balancing effect on the body and you will kind of achieve that balance. Achieving that balance is the key. And I also mentioned to you that we cannot control the wind, but we can adjust the sails. So changes in the nature, the seasonal changes in the nature, we cannot control. But if we change our lifestyle accordingly, our food accordingly, our clothes accordingly, everything to based to balance the season, then you can create that balance. And the best benefit of that, you can prevent most of the seasonally affected diseases. And do you know, like pharmaceutical companies advertise all these medicine based on the season. Right now, you will see all the ads for allergy medication. During summertime, you will see all ads for skincare diseases. In fall and winter, they will advertise for all the pain medication, depression medicine, constipation medicine, and all. Because we all know that the seasons affect us, but Ayurveda tells you how to prevent those problems, and that's why it is very beneficial. So today's talk, as Hema mentioned, that today is the kitchen pharmacy. With Ayurveda, I told you that we can keep the pharmacy away. But as we use all the spices in our kitchen, they also have a lot of medicinal qualities. And that's what we are going to talk about today. Okay, again, it is very interesting. So let me share my presentation with you as always. Okay, so kitchen pharmacy. And see how colorful all those spices are. Our kitchen, our pantry, our tadka container and all have many of these spices. So they come very handy. So we have like turmeric and we have chili powder and we have cumin and coriander and aniseed and star spice and cardamom and nutmeg and all beautifully different color. And they give like a different color to our health and our well-being also. So we always say spice up our life with spices. And what does it mean that? And first tell me why Indian food is very different than many other foods, especially here in US food, because what condiments we use here is mainly salt and black pepper, or maybe a lot of cheese and cream and other things. But in Indian food, we use lot of spices, tremendous number of spices we use in our cooking. So they not only give the color to the food, but they add so much flavor in it. Another difference I see in Indian cooking is we do not just sprinkle spices on the top. We cook with those spices. So when the rice is cooking, when your dal is cooking, all these spices go to the center of those grains and all, and the food tastes very delicious. It is very fragrant and it balances all the six tastes about it. Another best benefit of spices is the kindling the agni, and that means stimulating or strengthening your digestive enzymes. And why is it important? Because I told you our digestion is center to all the systems in the body. So if your digestion is perfect, if it is optimum, then you can prevent most of the diseases. Somebody earlier asked me the question about how to reduce cholesterol, how to bring our sugar into balance, how to balance our high blood pressure and all. The answer Ayurvedically is for all those things is to keep your Agni optimum. And all these spices kindle Agni. They stimulate Agni, improve your digestion. And when the digestion is improved, then it will help you to prevent the diseases. Then it enhances all the six tastes. And it's not only salt and black pepper, but we add some jaggery or sugar to that. We squeeze a lemon or we add tamarind or kokum. Then we add a little bit salt in it. Then we add chili powder. We have cumin, coriander, mustard seeds. We add hing to that. We add methi seeds to that. So all these taste, all these spices also enhance all the six tastes in the body, in our food. And when all the six tastes are balanced, food tastes delicious. Because we all know the quantity of spices we add is very different. We add more sugar, but we add very tiny pinch of chili powder. Then turmeric is different, hing quantity is different. So the right amount of all these spices enhance all the six tastes in the body. And the six tastes also balance kapha pitta vata, and they balance our body. And another beautiful and more important advantage is all these spices have medicinal qualities. They do not only add the taste and color to the food, but they work also as a medicine. And that's why I gave the name kitchen pharmacy. And that's what we always say, let my food be my medicine. So in our food, eating organic, eating fresh food, full of prana is important. But when we add all these spices, they add their medicinal qualities and our food really becomes like a medicine. For example, turmeric. See, only Indian Chinese people add turmeric in it. And now turmeric is proving to be having all the medicinal qualities, you name it, and turmeric has it. So that is part of our food. Chilies, it is part of our food. So let my food be my medicine. And that's what these spices are very important. And they are easily digested without causing any side effects. And what does it mean? Like everything in the nature, these spices are also made up of Pancha Mahabhutas, 5 basic elements. Our body is made up of Panchamahabhutas. All the fruits, vegetables made up of Panchamahabhutas. So body can easily digest those, and it has less side effects because we use it in the right amount and right quantity and all that. So that's the beauty about adding these spices in the food. Not only the color and the flavor, but also the medicinal qualities. So spices through the eyes of Ayurveda. And always, what is the eyes of Ayurveda? Is the three doshas, Kapha, Pitta and Vata. So Kapha dosha is the water energy. So hot and pungent spices are useful in Kapha conditions. So always remember, when it is excess Kapha in the body, we add more spices. If you are less kapha in the body, then cut down on the quantities of the spices and all. But when there is excess kapha condition, these hot and pungent spices are useful in these conditions. And why pungent? Because the Mahabhuta of pungent is hot, fire element, and air element. That's why they improve our digestive agni and the benefit. So ginger or chilies, black pepper, cloves, ajwan, cinnamon, you name it. And there are so many pungent spices. And they help. What are the kapha conditions? Wherever there is excess water, mucus, phlegm, those are the kapha conditions. So congestion, allergies, weight gain, diabetes, then swelling in the body, joints are swollen, your face is swollen. Wherever there is a swelling, wherever there is a water retention, there is a weak agni, weak digestion, all these spices are beneficial for that. Then when it comes to Pitta dosha is the fire element. So in the fire element, it already is very hot. So in those conditions, we use little bit cooling herbs. So coriander is dhania, cumin seeds is jeera, fennel seeds is fennel seed, and I'll remember badi shape, and cardamom, coconut. All these spices are cooling in nature. That's why we use more in pitta condition. If somebody has very heat in the body, we will never recommend eat more ginger or garlic or chilies and all, because that will aggravate heat in the body. So when there is excess heat in the body, we recommend using the cooling spices. So here you can see the difference, how Ayurveda always goes back to this kapha pitta and vata dosha, and then balances everything. When the moist and warming spices are beneficial in vata problem, because vata is very dry and vata is very cold. And that's why to reduce dryness, we need moistness, and to reduce coldness, we need warmth in those spices. So sesame seeds, I always recommend you to massage with sesame seed, eating some sesame seeds. They are also rich in natural calcium and all. They are excellent. Hing also is unique to Indian cooking, and it also takes care of all the gas and bloating and stomach ache and all the problems. Fennel seeds. Fennel is a body shape, we call that. So fennel seeds also has the similar effect of taking care of gas and bloating and improving digestion and all. Licorice root. Licorice is something that we don't use in cooking, but many Indian households always have this licorice root at home, because it is demulcent, it is moistening, so it is good for vata condition, and it is also sweet, astringent in nature, so it is also good for pitta conditions and all. Then salt. Salt is among the three doshas. If you ask, salt is good for whom, is mainly for vata dosha, because salt, retains water, and vata dosha is very dry. So to create moistness in the body, salt is good among all the three for vata people. Yes, everybody should eat salt, but vata people need a little bit more salt to keep their body well hydrated. And also salt takes care of lot of gas and bloating, and that's why it is beneficial more for vata condition. So what are the vata conditions? Constipation, pain, backache, body pain, arthritis, fatigue, and all insomnia, anxiety. So many of the diseases of related to Vata dosha. So some of these spices and all are very useful in those conditions. So here I have just categorized it, that I told you hot spices for mainly kapha condition, ginger, black pepper, cloves, ajwan. And I have added honey in this kapha pacifying because honey has a unique quality. Though honey is sweet, it is also astringent in nature and it is kapha balancing. So if you want to reduce kapha dosha, then honey is useful. And that's what in many Ayurvedic texts, they recommend even for diabetes, some amount of honey is good because it is kapha balancing. You will have the congestion, you have phlegm, mucus, cough and all. I always recommend ginger tea. And in that ginger tea, there is lemon, ginger and honey. For anything, even if you drink honey and warm water in the morning, that will also help you to lose weight a little bit. So that honey is good, though it is sweet, it is kapha balancing. So in pitta pacifying, I told you coriander, cumin, cardamom, coconut, but ghee. Ghee is very unique. It strengthens your Agni, but it is cooling in nature. So if you have pitta predominance, if your eyes are burning, if you feel body heat, I will strongly recommend to eat 2 teaspoons of ghee in those conditions because it is pitta balancing. And vata pacifying, fennel seeds, licorice, methi seeds, salt, sesame seeds, sesame oil and all. So, and remember when they are in this column, that does not mean some of these are overlapping too. Some of are good for 2 doshas, some of are good for 3 doshas also. But mainly when we talk about certain dosha, these spices and these things are very, very beneficial. Now here I want to just show you, point out how disease and diet lifestyle are connected. So any kind of disease, Ayurvedically, it is because of imbalanced doshas. Pitta may be aggravated, so you may get some heating conditions. Your kapha is increased and you may have water retention, you may have cough, bronchitis, asthma, heart issue, diabetes and all that. So because of increased imbalanced doshas. Why are doshas imbalanced? Due to imbalanced Agni. If your body is not digesting, your Agni is very weak, kapha may aggravate. If your Agni is very strong, it will increase heat in the body, pitta in the body. If this Agni is variable, sometimes good, sometimes bad, it will aggravate vata dosha in the body. And that's why imbalanced doshas are because of imbalanced Agni. And why Agni becomes imbalanced is due to wrong diet and lifestyle. So Ayurvedically, for most of the diseases, cause of the disease is due to wrong diet and lifestyle. And as I said, let me just give you a simple example. If your Agni is imbalanced, you are not digesting food well, and somebody says you just eat yogurt, and that yogurt is cold, yogurt is heavy, yogurt is sour, it will weaken your digestion. It will not improve your digestion. If you have allergies and if you take allergy pill with ice cold water, your allergies will never get better. So if you follow these Ayurvedic guidelines about diet and lifestyle, you can prevent most of the diseases. So here I just want to show this slide which is related to the. So what happens in the stomach? Suppose this is like making ghee from the butter. So the first stage is what is happening, that butter is melting. So there is kind of the white, you will see, you cannot see the bottom, it is still cooking. In the small intestine, what happens? It is boiling, and you will see that middle picture is a little bit more transparent compared to the leftmost picture. And what happens in the large intestine? You can even see that all the milk solids have settled to the bottom in the brown color. And what you see is a transparent 100% pure ghee. That's how your digestion should be. is body should kind of absorb all the nutrient, and all the waste is completely separated from the nutrients, and body is going to remove the waste as a feces, and body is going to absorb all these nutrients. But many times what happens, if your Agni is not good, then you do not come to this last end, the picture at the right end. Your picture, your digestion may end here, like in the middle, or most of the time, like in the picture on the left side. And if that kind of undigested food circulates in the body, then it is we call as ama, and it clogs many channels and causes most of the diseases. So Ayurvedically, your high cholesterol is also ama, your high sugar also is ama. Even subtle, there is no name in allopathy, but Ayurvedically, when we say ama, that means food has not digested till this last stage. And that's why these spices are very, very important to improve your digestion. All those things. So how will you know if your digestion is good or bad? That all depends on, first thing is observe your tongue in the mirror. If your tongue is white, that means your body is not digesting food well. If you feel like a malaise, like a heaviness in the body, I don't feel like doing anything, there is no good taste in your mouth, then if there is too much saliva in your mouth, all those tell you that your digestion is not good. Then think about how many times you are eating and how is your digestion. So here I'm going to talk more in details about all these spices and how they are going to help you. So the first, let's talk about ginger. And you all know ginger. We eat fresh ginger or we use ginger powder, dry ginger powder. And most of the, in Ayurvedic texts, most of the time when we say ginger, it is dry ginger powder. In Marathi, we call sunta. In Hindi, they call sot. So it is called, ginger is called Vishwa Bheshaja. And what does it mean? Vishwa Bheshaja is the universal medicine. And what does it mean? That it is beneficial for many of the diseases. And why is it important? Because it improves your digestion. I'm telling you over and over and over again is to pay attention to your digestion, because that is central. That is like a doorkeeper to your body. And once digestion is good, you have won half the battle. You don't have to worry about so many things. So ginger improves your digestion. Excellent. A lot of people have food allergies. And in my practice, I have shown them when we improve their digestion, many of their food allergies go away. Ginger is that great. Then it is the part of 3-katu. And 3-katu means pungent. So the combination of 3 pungent. What are those 3 pungents? Here they are. It's ginger, dry ginger, then black pepper, and this is called long pepper, or in Sanskrit, in Ayurveda, we call pippali. In Gujarati, they call ganthoda. So dry ginger, black pepper, and ganthoda or pippali. This is called 3-katu. And this formula is very, very popular in Ayurveda because it brings your digestion to the optimum state. So there are 2 Ayurvedic formulas which are very famous. One is 3-katu, that means 3 pungent, and 3-phala. And I've told you many times in the past seminars about 3-phala. And those are haritaki, bibitaki, and amlaki. They help you to cleanse your body. And 3-katu, these 3 pungent improves your agni, so they digest food well. And 3-phala helps to clear all those waste from the body. And that's why 3-katu and 3-phala are the most popular Ayurvedic formulas in the whole Ayurvedic pharmacy. Then ginger is very heating, and that's why any for congestion, congestive headache, if you have bronchitis, if you have sore throat, a lot of people even have sleep apnea. There is a swelling in their throat. Even this 3-katu combination helps in those conditions also. Wherever there is weak digestion, there is swelling in the body, water retention in the body, 3 katu or only ginger powder will be very, very beneficial. And always make a habit keeping this ginger powder at home. It keeps very handy. Then it is also naturally, it is even proven in scientific world that ginger is natural anti-inflammatory, and that's why it helps in arthritis. How is Ayurveda looks at ginger for arthritis? Because many times joints swell, and when there is a swelling of the joint which is causing the pain, ginger is going to reduce that swelling, and then the joint pain will be better, and the swelling will go down, and the joints will start moving as normal. So in any kind of back pain, any kind of arthritis, your fingers are hurting, your toes are hurting, even you have congestive headache, in any kind of pains and aches, you can use ginger powder. Then for tamasic mind, and what is tamasic mind? The mind has become so dull, the mind has become so heavy. In those conditions, to kind of lighten your mind, reduce the heaviness, ginger powder is excellent. And you don't need a whole lot. You don't need 1 teaspoon of ginger powder. Just taking quarter teaspoon of ginger powder with your food will help. You can use the combination of all these three, or you can just use dry ginger powder in all these conditions. If your skin is looking very pale, if you're feeling your skin is becoming very cold and all, you want to increase your body temperature, you want to have a little bit more luster to your skin and all, again, you need this heating spice at ginger. And you know the funny thing, how much does the fresh ginger cost? Maybe 10 cents, 15 cents for like a long piece. It's very inexpensive, but the medicinal qualities of it are so tremendous. And that's why I like to share all this information about all these spices to all the people and benefit from it. Do you know one of my grandmother's popular digestant? And here is the best digestant is the grated ginger. Grate some fresh ginger root, squeeze a lemon, add lemon juice in it, add quarter teaspoon of salt in it, and 1 teaspoon of sugar, and mix all this. And if you take like half teaspoon of this, quarter teaspoon of this juice, you will really see your Agni become so strong. It tastes excellent. Hey, please mute. Hema, please mute everybody. So that digestant is excellent. You can make it and keep it in the refrigerator. And before you start your meal, you can have like a half teaspoon of this, and your digestion will improve and you will really notice the difference. Sometimes we use this ginger paste also externally. So what you can do is take 1 teaspoon or 1 teaspoon ginger powder, add 3 teaspoons or 2 tablespoons of water in it, and just mix it together and cook it on low flame. And it becomes pasty like this. And just apply that paste on your forehead if you have congestive headache. Apply that paste on your aching joints if you have a joint pain, or if you have backache, if your knees are hurting, apply that paste, and that will take away the pain and swelling. Ginger powder is really, really good. So you can take it internally, you can take it externally. You use it externally. That also helps. So always remember this ginger root, dry ginger powder is sought. Then second in ajwan seeds. And many of us also know this ajwan, and our pantry has these tiny seeds, which are very, very tiny, even smaller than cumin seeds. And they are very pungent. They add this kind of, and we always use these ajwan seeds in our paratha, or we use it in our soups. We use it in sometimes even in our chapatis and all to improve our digestion, because they are very heating, but they have kind of the unique quality. Even sometimes if you have nausea, if you have sour taste in mouth, if you feel like a vomiting and all, then even ajwan is heating, but ajwan takes care of all those problems. So mainly when do we use ajwan? When somebody complains about gas, bloating, belching, you ate like a heavy meal and you cannot even talk, your stomach is ballooned, then take pinch of ajwan seeds with warm water and you will really start noticing the difference. All the stomach ache is gone, bloating is gone. So if you are having those kind of issues, a lot of people have issues because of indigestion, then ajwan seeds just like a miracle, they reduce all this. And if you add a pinch of salt in it, then it is perfect, because always gas and bloating gets salt gets rid of that, and along with ajwan, because ajwan is very heating, and that's why this is very beneficial. Then for the heartburn, and you will ask me, if ajwan is so heating, how is it going to help me in the heartburn, because it is a heating condition? But most of the time heartburn is because of there is undigested food in the system, and which causes nausea, which causes kind of sour taste in mouth, which causes sense of vomiting and all. If you have that kind of a heartburn, ajwan seeds will definitely help you, because pitta dosha in the body is fire element, but it's carried in the water element. And when you are eating very sour foods, then it creates more ama in the system, and that ajwan helps to digest it. So if you have it with a piece of dry coconut, you can take pinch of ajwan seeds and heartburn will get better. So you can take a pinch of this after your meals. That is also very beneficial. Then people who are lactose intolerant. And these, we hear these days, many people are lactose intolerant and gluten intolerant. So if you have some issues with milk, first thing, try warming the milk. Heat the milk, then let it cool down to lukewarm and then drink it. Just heating the milk will also take care of many of your intolerance. If it stays further, you can add a pinch of ajwan seeds after drinking milk. That will take care of it. You can add even pinch of ginger powder in this milk, warm milk, and that will take care of all these lactose intolerance. But mainly is what? Improving your digestion. And when the digestion improves, many of these milk allergies go away. Then in small children or people, even many times they get up at night to go to the bathroom more often. Then if you take a pinch of ajwan seeds with pinch of sesame seeds, that will also reduce the excessive urination. Or in children, sometimes they have a habit of bedwetting. So this kind of simple remedy helps many times. But overall, ajwan being very pungent and hot, that helps to reduce excessive urination. Then the joint pain. Again, why the joint pain? The swelling of the joints. Like the ginger, ajwan also is natural anti-inflammatory. So orally also you can take some ajwan seeds, or you can just tie 1 tablespoon of ajwan seeds in a piece of cloth. Warm that whole kind of that bundle on the griddle and use it as a dry heat on painful joints, and it helps a lot. If you have people, if you have your lungs are congested, if your chest is congested with the phlegm and mucus, you can use the same ajwan seeds wrapped in the piece of fabric, heat it up, and just kind of use it as a dry heat on your chest, and all the mucus and phlegm will kind of dissolve, and you will be able to spit it out, and you will start feeling better. So here what I'm trying to do is know what is the taste of that spice, what is going to do. So many conditions, even if you see, if this is because of weak digestion, this is of kapha dosha and all, so you can use it in all those conditions. Okay, again, how much does this cost? Maybe $1 or $2, but the benefits are more than $100 or even more. Like the ginger's powder. Then the third is the cumin seeds. And many of us also know the cumin seed. Mexican food also, they use a lot of cumin powder. Even during the fasting also we use tadka of ghee and cumin seeds and all. And cumins are kind of little bit different than ginger and ajwan seed. They are not as heating. They are warming, but they are more kind of cooling side in the body. And that's why mainly cumin seeds we use in all three doshas, but it also you can use it definitely in pitta dosha because they are not as heating as ginger and all that. So if somebody has nausea, sour belching, most of the time when your digestive system is not functioning, what symptoms do you get? Your stomach becomes very heavy, you may get gas, you may feel bloated, or you may get the heartburn or acid reflux and all that. So most of the time, sour belching or nausea and all, you can just chew a pinch of cumin seeds with raw sugar, and that will take care of it because it also, though it is mild, it also balances all the three doshas, and that's what takes care of all the sour belching and all. Then if you have constant itching of the body, and lot of old people complain about my skin is so dry and it itches constantly. So I always tell them first is to massage whole body with warm sesame oil. But if still they have itching, then you can try this chew couple of pinches of cumin seed and drink warm water at bedtime. And cumin seed, because it is also balancing pitta dosha and vata dosha, it will reduce the itching in the body. Very simple, but very beneficial. Then in inflammation in the body, drink CCFT. And CCF means coriander, cumin, and fennel. And these days, you always hear from the doctor that most of the diseases happen because of excessive inflammation in the body. Ayurvedically, that inflammation is mainly ama. But if it really is body is causing a lot of ama and digestion is weak, then along with ginger and all, this coriander, cumin, and fennel tea is very, very beneficial. It is also good for your kidneys. It also flushes your kidneys better. So if somebody says that you have inflammation, then always drink this CCFT, 1 or 2 glasses per day. And I have emailed you all of the recipe for this CCFT, ginger tea, and all that. So go back to your notes and just keep the copy of that and keep it handy for you. In bloating, add cumin seed powder in half glass of buttermilk and drink at the end of the meal. I told you before that buttermilk is called Amrut on the earth. It is excellent for your digestive system. But if you add cumin seed powder, if you add hing to that, if you add maybe a little bit fresh ginger to that, again, it is going to improve your digestion, absorption, and all that, and is going to take care of many digestive issues. So cumin seed, you can mix it in buttermilk, and that's what we give ghee ka tadka. We heat some ghee, add cumin seed powder, add curry leaves in it, and put it in the buttermilk, and that is very appetizing and beneficial for digestion. Then if somebody has dysentery, what is dysentery? So they go to the toilet more often instead of 1 or 2, they go 4 or 5 times, and there is a lot of mucus in the stools. And in those conditions, this simple coriander cumin combination and all works very beneficially. It also cools down your system if there is a lot of pitta in the system, and it also takes care of excess kapha and reduces mucus through the system. If somebody has any burning urination, I told you, it flushes your kidneys well. So if somebody has kind of very dark color urine, or the urine is burning, and or they have a lot of pain during urination and all, if in all those conditions, drink this CCFT. Very simple. Maybe in that recipe, there is some half a teaspoon of powder in a glass of warm water, and steep it overnight and drink it in the morning. So very simple tea, but the benefits are many. And that's what these cumin seeds are always in our tadka box. Again, always remember, anything we add in oil is dissolved in oil. So you can, to get the best benefits of that. Like turmeric, we add in tadka, mustard seeds, we add in oil, hing, we add in oil. So always make sure there is some oil along with it, and you will get the best benefits of all these spices. Then the next is again the cloves. Again, very heating. So like ajwan, like ginger powder. Cloves are also very. Please mute yourself so you will not disturb other people, please. So cloves are also best for the kapha dosha. Cloves are heating. So if you have congestion, like when I go and talk, I always keep a clove in my mouth. If somebody has lot of mucus, if they have asthma, even they can chew one clove. If somebody's tongue is white, digestion is weak, you can use clove as a mouth freshener. That will also help. If you are going to travel and if you have motion sickness, if you feel nauseous, if you throw up while flying or driving and all, you can, for that problem also, you can suck on one clove. Don't chew it, just keep it in your mouth and suck the juices, and it will take care of your motion sickness. Then if you feel very thirst, clove also reduces the thirst. So just put one clove, two cloves in the water, boil that water for few minutes, and then drink that water. It quenches your thirst. Then we all know the toothache. If you have some teeth problem, then put like 3-4 drops of clove oil on that cotton swab and keep it on that uh, achy tooth, and it will take care of that. But if you have a habit of just putting the clove in your mouth, then that will prevent a lot of teeth decay and teeth issues and all that. If somebody has dysentery, again weak digestion, bowel movement, they're going frequently and all, just a pinch of clove powder with 1/4 teaspoon of honey is also very beneficial. So you can see for many digestive issues, you can use all these hot spices and that will take care of it. And I would always recommend first, at the early stage, try these home remedies and you will really see the benefits of that. Then licorice root, as I said, we don't use it in cooking, but we always keep it in our house. Especially licorice is kind of sweet and astringent, and it is very demulcent. And demulcent means what? It moistens your body. So most of the time, these are kind of pieces of the root, you will get it. Or you can get the licorice powder, and licorice powder is available in Indian store these days. So though because it is sweet in nature, it kind of helps. Somebody is feel very fatigued or weak, and especially I get many clients after this COVID infection and all that. Many people are complaining that they experience a lot of fatigue and weakness after. So in my formula, I always use licorice powder in it. So you can use half teaspoon of licorice powder, 1 teaspoon ghee in it, and take it before meals, and within few days you will really start seeing more energy. It will boost your energy. Again, very simple but very beneficial. Again, it is demulcent, that's a stomatitis. A lot of people have kind of ulcers in their mouth, in their cheeks, their tongue and all that. In those kind of problems, mix half teaspoon of licorice powder in 1 teaspoon ghee and apply inside the mouth, your cheeks and gums and tongue and all, and it will heal those ulcers in few days. I have seen this and I've tried this in many clients and they have benefited from this. Then because it is demulcent, if somebody, even before we started the talk, somebody talked about having dry cough, hacking cough. In those conditions, licorice powder is very beneficial because it moistens your throat. It kind of lubricates your throat. When there is dryness in your respiratory system, then moistening is more important. So using warm water, using ghee, using licorice powder is very, very beneficial. So you can use this. Or sometimes if there is a little bit mucus or phlegm, then you can add a pinch of black pepper powder in that and drink that water or sip that water on and off. Pour it in the travel mug and just sip that water on and off. And I always use that when I used to teach in Ayurvedic school. I used to talk for 8 hours. So I always had that licorice tea with me so I can just speak for a long period of time. Again, it is very sweet and demulcent and astringent in taste, and that's why it is beneficial in hemorrhoids or any bleeding conditions in the body. It just kind of stops the bleeding. It is also moistening, so helps to have good bowel movement. We can easily remove those feces and the bleeding stops. In burning urination, again, because it is also sweet, it is cooling in nature, and that's why when there is burning urination, painful urination and all, licorice powder always helps in a 1 cup of milk and 1 teaspoon raw sugar, and drink that milk, and that will take care of burning. So here, licorice is not very heating like ginger or ajwan. This is more cooling. So it is good for pitta dosha. It is moistening, so it is good for vata dosha. But one word of caution, that if you have hypertension, if your blood pressure is high, if you are taking blood pressure medication, then do not take licorice. These days, deglycerized licorice is also available, which you can take it if you have hypertension. But generally, I just want to give you the word of caution that in hypertension, don't use it. There are so many other things you can use, but don't use licorice. Then another very popular seeds in our cooking are methi seeds. And we all know that when we make a pickle, we always add methi powder in it. When we cook squashes, pumpkins and something, we add methi powder in it. But do you know methi has a lot of medicinal qualities? Methi is very bitter in taste, but it is also heating in nature. And that's why, because it is heating, it reduces phlegm and all. It balances vata and kapha dosha. And because it reduces phlegm, it helps in body pain and arthritis. Again, there is a swelling, there is painful joints, your lower back is hurting. Even after delivery and all, in Indian culture, we always recommend these methi laddus to this mother, and that helps a lot because of its anti-inflammatory nature, and it is warming in nature, and that's what we use it more. But always remember that methi is more beneficial when it is mixed or cooked in oil. And that's what, when we make tadka, we put methi seeds in it. We don't just add methi in the water because it doesn't dissolve in water, but it kind of is dissolved in oil. So we always add in tadka. We always add also in the pickle, because pickle has a lot of oil in it. And especially for the mango pickle, why do we add methi seeds? Because sometimes mango being very sour, we use raw mango. So mango being very sour, methi balances that sourness of the pickle, and that's why it does not kind of causes a lot of acidity and all that. Another benefit of this is reduces blood sugar. So here, if you see in this glass, there is a yellow water. So what you do is soak 1 teaspoon of these methi seeds in hot water overnight, steep that water, and in the morning, just strain it and drink that water. And that water, you can even chew few methi seeds. But that methi water in the morning is also helping you to reduce blood sugar. And why? Because methi is very, very bitter. And Ayurvedically, diabetes is the disease of the sweet taste. So bitter taste and sweet taste, they're exactly opposite to each other. They balance each other. So whenever, and that's why when you're eating black coffee, you like to eat a donut. Donut and black coffee go well. And what does it mean? They balance each other. They become neutral. And that's why methi being very bitter in taste, it helps to reduce, and it also has a quality of reducing your blood sugar. So beneficial in diabetes and all. But also remember, methi is bitter, but it is also tremendously heating. So use it more in winter time or springtime. Don't use lot of methi during summertime because that will aggravate the heat in the body. Then it also helps to reduce cholesterol. Somebody asked me about the cholesterol and all. Again, because methi is very heating, it also is good to reduce cholesterol in the body. It also improves digestion and cholesterol becomes less. It also works like an antioxidant. Many benefits of all these mustard seeds and methi seeds and turmeric and all in our cooking. And especially add in sabjis, which we use like a squash, pumpkin. What is unique about the squashes and pumpkin? They are sweet in nature. They are very heavy in nature. And that's why I told you, sweet and bitter taste balance each other. Methi is very balancing and it is also very light in nature. And that's what when you cook it with these vegetables, then it kind of becomes a balancing act. So steep in hot water overnight. You can have different varieties of it, or you can make laddus. And especially these laddus, as I said, are very beneficial for the new mother. Right after the delivery, we start giving them methi laddus and all. They also improve your breast milk. So lactating mother, methi also is really good. Or you can use fresh methi leaves and you can make that as a sabji. It also tastes good in many. Kasuri methi is also very becoming very popular and it is the ingredient in many Indian recipes. So any which way you can use it, but use it in the right conditions and all. So you will benefit from it more. Then the next very important spice is the turmeric. And look at that yellow orange color of the turmeric. And that's why it is is the unique in Indian cooking, unique in Chinese or Thai cooking and all that. But these days, this turmeric has become very popular in the scientific world. And why is that? And Ayurveda has been saying that for thousands of years, that turmeric is excellent. It has beneficial effects on all the systems and all the diseases and all. But now the science is even proving that turmeric is the excellent spice, but they sell it as turmeric capsules and all for $50. But if you add this turmeric root or turmeric powder in your food, you will get those medicinal benefits of that. It literally has almost all the medicinal qualities. Means let me tell you, in Indian culture, we had before the wedding, we use that haldi ceremony. You just kind of massage your body, body face with turmeric, and your skin will start glowing. If you drink turmeric milk, we used to say, "Pi halad ho gori," means you drink turmeric in milk and your skin will start glowing. Any liver condition, turmeric is excellent. If you have cold, cough, bronchitis, turmeric is excellent. For these days, and even for many cancers, for cognitive disorders like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, for heart issues, for digestive health, turmeric, arthritis, turmeric is excellent in all these conditions. It is also natural anti-inflammatory, so used in arthritis. These days, turmeric has become very popular. And in many arthritis medication, you will always see one of the ingredient is turmeric root, turmeric powder. It also works as a blood purifier. So if somebody has like a rash or blisters, they used to use, take pinch of turmeric powder with pinch of neem powder. Even in old days, somebody has acne, somebody has blisters on the face. We always used to make the turmeric, neem, triphala and all face mask and apply it, and your skin will start glowing and all the acne blisters will start healing because it's a blood purifier. It is also liver stimulant. If you want to stimulate your digestion, if you want your liver to function better, then start using turmeric in your food more. If you have cold cough, drink 1 cup of warm milk with quarter or half teaspoon of turmeric because that is natural decongestant. So you talk about any medicinal quality, then turmeric has it. And that's why turmeric is a part of our daily spice. You cook any vegetable, you make any soup or any dal, turmeric is always there and we get the best benefit of it. As I said, like a methi seed, turmeric also is dissolved in oil. So if you are just taking turmeric capsules, I would recommend it. You then take those with little bit of water or oil water or something so that turmeric will be dissolved in that and your body will absorb it. Very important. It also boosts your immune system. I want to tell you one funny story. One of my Ayurvedic friend was traveling in Europe and he met one person, and that person told my friend that I have this wound on my leg and it is not healing for like 2-3 years. And I tried so many medicines, but they are not helping me. What can I do? And my friend gave him one bag of turmeric powder to him. And then they just parted. And that person, because he was so desperate, he started using this turmeric powder on his wound. And that wound healed within like 2-3 months. And that person was so kind of fascinated by that yellow powder and finally found out that was nothing but the turmeric powder. And we grew up with this turmeric. Remember when we had cut or bruise, what did we used to do? Just put a pinch of ginger turmeric powder on the wound and it will stop healing and the wound will stop bleeding and the wound will heal faster. We didn't have neosporin or we didn't have antibiotic cream, but pinch of turmeric powder did all the magic. So that's how all the spices we use every day in our cooking have tremendous medicinal qualities. So continue using spices, add less or more quantity based on which condition you want to use it. And if you want to use it as a prevention, then use it as you are using it before. But here I wanted to tell you more the medicinal qualities of all these spices. So what do spices do? They are the great tool to stay healthy and treat many simple ailments. And stitch in time saves 9. And what does it mean? When your problem is in the acute state, early stage, try all these simple home remedies before it's too late. If it is too late, when it develops into disease, you may have to see the doctor. But at the earlier stage, if you take care of it, you can take care of that by doing this home pharmacy using all these spices. They are very inexpensive. Literally, they will cost you for $1 or 2 or maybe 3. But compared to many medicines, we are spending like hundreds and thousands of dollars on all these medications. But if you use these spices wisely, then you can save all that money also. And when used according to the Prakriti, there are no side effects. But there are so many side benefits. That's the beauty of it. Like if you use ginger, I remember one lady came to me, she has arthritis, and I gave her ginger powder. And she said, my allergies went away, my joint pain is better, and my mind is more clear. How did that happen? I just told you one symptom. But because it was reducing kapha dosha, she started seeing many side benefits. So that's the beauty of it. They do not cause side effects, but there are so many side benefits. So I would strongly recommend use this knowledge, use this wisdom, and make your home pharmacy more effective and beneficial. And I have created this. People always ask me about different formulas. So for allergies, I have a formula called Allergon. To improving digestion, this digestion is nothing but ginger, black pepper, and pipali. I also have a special formula as a hair tonic, boosting your immune system for acidity. For Trilax is mainly is Triphala. Then extension is Brahmi, Shankapushpi, very calming herbs and all that. Then I have Brahmi ghee for calming. I have eczema cream. I have Nasya oil. So what I do, I have some standard formulas, but I also create special formulas based on the need. Okay. So if you are interested or if you want to get in touch with me, just write down my email, write down my phone number, or take a picture of this, or go to my website and you can get hold of me. Okay. So now what I will do, I'll stop sharing as always. Okay, I hope you learned something more about the spices.
I learned something again also, or
Good.
revised things that you already told us in our series.
Yes.
But you have a couple of questions there.
Okay.
And the first one is, what kitchen medicines to use to reduce cholesterol?
Okay, so if you listen to me, I told about methi, I told you about ginger powder and all. You can use all those spices to reduce your cholesterol. They will be very beneficial.
Any suggestions for fatty liver?
Okay, remember many times people always complain, I don't even eat so much fat, but why do I have fatty liver? Because remember, all the carb, protein, and fat are made up of three: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and the protein has nitrogen in it. But when you eat a lot of carbs, which produces more energy, and if you do not use that energy, which is also when you eat carb, it goes to your muscle cells, and it also some amount it goes to your liver and it stores it in the form of glycogen. And if you don't use it, then that carb also, that sugar also becomes as a fat. And because it is stored in the liver, you get the fatty liver. So how are you going to improve your liver function? I told you about turmeric. Turmeric is an excellent spice to improve your liver function. Methi is another good spice for that. Even ginger also stimulates your liver. So when you add all these spices in your food, your fatty liver will also slowly but surely. It will take time, but slowly it will start improving.
Do you have herb for anxiety?
Yes, I showed you my formula extension, and mainly I have Ayurvedic herbs in it. It has Brahmi, Shankapushpi, Jatamansi, Ashwagandha and all, and that works very well to reduce anxiety. But along with it, we'll also recommend you, anxiety is mainly because of Vata dosha. So if you start eating warm foods and grounding foods, then you can get rid of anxiety.
And what are the benefits of Brahmi herb? Brahmi.
As I said, mainly, and we all senior people, we start losing our memory. So Brahmi is excellent to retain our memory. And Brahmi is unique, it balances it. If people are so anxious, it balances it. If the mind is become so heavy and foggy, then it balances it. So Brahmi is excellent. Even the name Brahmi, close to Brahma. So it is very spiritual also, and it is good for your buddhi.
What are forbidden food combinations?
And 1 minute, Hema, and I want to add one more thing. I have created Brahmi, and remember, in Ayurveda, thousands of years ago, that's what they said. Nasa hi shirasodvaram. So nose is the shortest route to reach your brain. Everywhere there is a blood-brain barrier. But through this, you can reach the brain. And that's what Brahmi ghee is excellent to calm your mind down. And Brahmi ghee, you put few drops of that ghee in your nose at bedtime. And that helps a lot. So I get so many kids with ADHD and autism and all, and I give them this Brahmi ghee and it produces excellent effect.
Good to know that.
Yes.
What are forbidden food combinations?
Okay, mainly anything that food changes its qualities. For example, if you are adding milk and anything sour like lemon, then the milk curdles. That combination is bad. Or if you are using fish and kind of yogurt or milk, those combinations are bad. So anything when the food changes its qualities and consistency, those are not the good combinations.
I have unopened Shilajit bottle for 6 years. Can I still use it? And
No,
what
I
are
would
the
recommend, generally we use the herbs or even spices, which are 1 year or around that time old. Do not use like 3-year-old, 5-year-old, because they lose the potency. Also, you will notice the difference if you have a black pepper in your shaker, which is sitting there for 6 months. And if you are making a fresh black pepper powder through the mill, that mill powder has more kind of pungent in taste and it has more essential oils in it. So I will always recommend you to buy small quantity of spices and use the powder just before using it. Don't just make like a big quantity of powder, or don't buy like 2 pounds cumin seed or coriander seed powder from Indian grocery store and keep it for 6 months or a year and put it in the freezer and all that. Don't do that, because all the essential oils evaporate and that becomes just the particle, but it is not very medicinally potent.
and what are the ways Shilajit can be incorporated in day-to-day life?
Shilajit is not something, it's not, first thing, it is not spice. Shilajit is the Ayurvedic herb, and it is kind of the scraping herb. So if you have high cholesterol, we would recommend Shilajit. If somebody wants to reduce weight, we recommend Shilajit. Even for diabetes, they recommend Shilajit. So Shilajit is kind of, we call that scraping, like Google. So that kind of action, it reduces excessive phlegm, excessive building of tissues in the body. It also digests ama and all. So when there are excessive ama conditions, we use Shilajit and it has very benefits, but it's not a spice. We don't use it as a cooking.
Okay. How to cure dry sinus and headache?
Okay, when you are saying dry sinus, that means there is a lot of dryness. Then you can put just plain ghee, and ghee will moisten it. It will lubricate the respiratory passage, and you will be able to get rid of that phlegm. If it is congestive mucus, then the herbs will be different. You can just inhale ginger powder, or I have nasya oil. But if it is very dry, then you have to put like a ghee in that.
How to balance Vata dosha?
Okay, so you tell me. I'm going to test you. Vata dosha. What are the qualities of Vata dosha? Cold, light, and dry. So how will you balance those? With moist, warm, and heavy foods. So oatmeal, soups, stews, pumpkins, squashes, all the heavy foods, complex carb like grains and all will balance your Vata dosha. I'm going to send you all one questionnaire, okay? I'm really going to see what you learned.
That would be good.
No, some of the questions came while you were talking. And so
Okay.
you were giving the answers later, but all questions are here. So I am asking them.
Okay, okay.
Should seniors avoid eating raw foods because that is hard to digest?
Yeah. Senior people should avoid, and why? Because I told you the life cycle, we are into Vata stage of life. And why to avoid raw foods? Not only because they are heavy to digest, but they are very cold in nature. Okay, and they are light in nature, so they produce a lot of gas and bloating, and that's why you have to avoid. That's why you have to eat cooked food in your senior years. Don't use a lot of gas. Immediately you will notice that for lunch, if you have a big bowl of salad, after 3-4 hours, you will feel gassy. Mentally also, you will feel kind of weird. Your mind will start racing and all that. So avoid raw foods as much as possible. Only you can make raita, like cucumber raita or some raita and all. That much raw is enough. But like here in US these days, we started focusing, oh, salad is so healthy, salad is so good. But at this age, salad is not that great. You can cook it, maybe saute it a little in sesame oil or cooking oil, take that crunch, take that coldness and lightness away, and then you can eat that.
What can we do to prevent and cure spider web veins or red and blue veins in the leg?
Okay, all those that we call that as a varicose veins. First thing, you have to know why you varicose veins, because in the arteries our heart is pumping the blood, but from the veins it is coming back to the heart. There is no pump, so there are valves in the veins, and when you walk, when you exercise, then only those muscles contract and they push the blood from your legs or from your feet to the heart. And that's what exercise is very, very important. Otherwise, all those blood kind of stagnates in your lower extremities and all. And then because those veins have that blood for long period of time, then they dilate, the blood vessels become weak, the wall become weak, and you start getting all those varicose veins. So generally it is said that walking is the king of exercise. So if you want to prevent most of the stuff, you start walking at least 30 minutes every day. And if you walk in the morning, your skin is also absorbing sun rays. It will create vitamin D. It will help your calcium, because calcium also is necessary in old age. And you are with the nature. You are just kind of breathing that fresh air. So I will strongly recommend to make a habit, put at that in your daily routine, is going for a walk in the morning, minimum 30 minutes. If you walk for 1 hour, that's great, but walk for minimum 30 minutes.
Heating kills nutrients. How to cook? Is it okay to use non-stick surface pots?
I would recommend don't use non-stick surface pots and all that, because that is all kind of the chemicals used, and that non-stick pan becomes old. It starts getting that chemicals get in your food. So start cooking in pure stainless steel and cook on medium heat. Never cook on high heat because the food kind of burns. You cook on medium heat, and even don't cook food till it becomes very, very mushy. Food has to have like a good consistency.
Okay. Is it okay to have half teaspoon of turmeric and drink water after putting it in mouth directly every day?
As I mentioned to you, turmeric is dissolved in oil. Okay, so what you can do, mix the turmeric in ghee or little bit oil, and then just swallow it and drink warm water on the top. Instead of just taking turmeric, remember that is the difference. If you want the best benefits of turmeric, mix it in ghee or cook with it, and then eat it instead of taking raw.
Okay. Is store-bought ghee okay, or do you recommend homemade ghee? And if homemade ghee, then from what type of butter?
Okay, I strongly recommend you make ghee at home. It does not take a lot of efforts. It cooks within 20 minutes. You just have to melt that butter on medium heat on heavy pot, and your ghee is done. You don't have to fry it. You don't have to stir it very often and all that. Use organic, unsalted butter and make your own ghee, because in the store-bought ghee, you do not know how long it is sitting there. And second thing, if the ghee is not completely cooked, then some water stays in it and that ghee becomes rotten.
Right.
Okay, as I showed you the picture, it has to, all this milk solids should sit to the bottom. They become brown. So even when you're straining it, you will get like 100% fat, and that is the best ghee. Okay. And another thing I want to tell all the people that do not refrigerate ghee. Put ghee in your pantry, put it in the cabinet, pour it in a heavy glass jar and put it in your cabinet. Do not refrigerate, because what goes in the refrigerator is whatever has water in it. So butter goes in the refrigerator, but ghee stays outside. All the vegetables may go in the refrigerator, but your oil stays outside, because oil and ghee does not have any water at all. So there is no need to refrigerate it.
I did not know that about.
Yes, it is very important.
Yeah. How can we take licorice?
Licorice, what you can do, mix it in ghee, or you can just add it in glass of warm water and just wring that water on and off. That will really lubricate your body. If somebody has dry hacking cough, that will take care of it. That also gives you more energy. As I only mentioned that if you are taking medicine for hypertension, do not take it.
Not take licorice.
Eyes are sensitive to light. Can you suggest what to do?
I told you why are many times eyes are sensitive to light, because eyes is the seat of fire element. Okay, and that's what eyes become sensitive to light, or even computer screen. Somebody is working on computer for 8 to 10 hours, they always have some eye problems. If you are out in the bright sun, you will always have the problems. If your pitta is aggravated in the body, your eyes will become red hot. So what you have to do? Cool your eyes. So put like 2-3 drops of homemade ghee in your eyes at bedtime. I told you, take it on your finger and like a kajal, put it underneath your lower eyelids and gently rub your eye so it will get smeared all over the eye. Second thing is, I told you that our feet and our eyes are connected. So massage your soles of the feet with coconut oil. You can walk, I told you to walk in the morning, you can walk on the grass. That coolness of the grass through your feet will reach your eyes and it will cool it down. And turmeric also is excellent for the eye. Licorice also is excellent for the eye. Anything that cools the body is good for the eyes.
Are leftover foods kept in the refrigerator hard to digest, and does it need recooking? Does
Okay,
it
it
help
doesn't need
recooking?
recooking, it needs only warming, and I would recommend eat leftover food only once, maybe a day before. But if you are just cooking for 1 week and just warming the food and eating the whole week, that is not, because it loses prana. The main thing why do we eat food is to get the prana through it. And if the food is losing all the prana, then no use of eating all that food. And here in US, we get all these gadgets. Use those gadgets and make food fresh as much as possible.
My mother has knee pain. It's hard to maintain everyday life for her. Any suggestion?
So all these conditions, please give me a call at the office. Okay?
આઈસ્ક્રીમ ને બધું અંદર ઓલું આઈસ સ્ક્રૂટ ને બધું પડેલું છે બધું શું છે
આઈસ્ક્રીમ ને આઈસ્ક્રૂટ ક્યાં છે?
Can you mute? Will you please mute yourself? Yeah.
હું તો આઈસ્ક્રૂટ લાગતું નથી કોઈ.
નથી લાગતી
છોકરાઓ આવ્યા છે ત્યાં નાસ્તો.
Which one?
Bakula, please mute yourself.
Yes, I muted him. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay. My next question here is how to make ginger powder at home.
It's very difficult. It's best to buy it store-bought, or if you have to have very powerful blender, then only you can make it ginger powder at home from the dry ginger, like a salt. Very difficult.
Can you
Or in
provide,
old days, we used to kind of rub that against the against the rock, but it's very difficult. If you want to use it every day, just buy it from the store.
can you provide some information and benefits on Sudha Gugulu, when to take it, before or after lunch or dinner?
Okay, another thing, Shuddha Gugul is not something, is a spice. It's not a spice. Like a Shilajit, it is a herb. And again, it also has a scraping action, as I mentioned to you, that to reduce excessive phlegm in the body, excessive tissue buildup in the body, we use Gugul. And Gugul is excellent to reduce the pain in the body. So there are so many Gugul products like Trifala Gugul and Gokshuradi Gugul and Amrutadi Gugul and Kaishor Gugul and all. The main herb in that different herbal combination is the Gugul. And it also reduces your cholesterol. Trifala Gugul is excellent for that. Even Gugul is excellent for even diabetes, for the obesity and many kapha conditions. We use Gugul a lot in the practice. But it's not a spice, so don't try to use it on your own. Just ask your Ayurvedic practitioner or doctor.
You said to eat ginger, but if someone has skin allergy, that time, is it okay to take ginger or ginger powder?
Yes, many times what happens, even in sometimes if you have a heartburn and you will feel that ginger is so hot and I have a heartburn, but that heartburn is because of the nausea or vomiting or sour taste in the mouth. That means the fire in your body has become less. In that condition, even drinking ginger tea will reduce your acidity.
Okay, so next question is also, can we use ginger in cooking in a pitta balancing diet?
The quantity will change. Don't use a lot of like a ginger paste or garlic paste. What I would recommend, get a small piece of ginger, chop it and add it in your food. But just don't add 1 teaspoon of ginger paste or garlic paste in your cooking. That will aggravate your pitta a lot.
Can pregnant person take ajwain with sandhav at bedtime?
Yes, they can.
And same for heartburn for pregnant. Is ajwain seed okay to take?
Yes.
Okay. In my family, we have all 3 predominant doshas all the time. Are there foods that balance all 3 doshas? And especially, I am talking about fruits, vegetables, and spices that are good for all doshas.
So remember, if you all the 3, somebody is more kapha, they can take more kind of chili powder, or maybe they will eat few pieces of chili, fresh chili with their food to make it more kapha balancing. Okay. If it is more vata dosha, then they will have more kind of dal or the soup or moist foods. They can combine dal and rice together and they can eat that. So there is a way of modifying these things also. So, but call me, so we'll talk more on one-on-one. Okay.
Is licorice same as Jeshtimad?
Yes, Jeshtimad or Yeshtimadhu or Mulhatti is licorice.
Okay. Is it okay to have methi during last month of pregnancy?
No, generally we recommend methi more after delivery.
I have low blood pressure. Should I take methi seeds or not?
Depending on your prakriti, I won't go just because of low blood pressure, but I want to know what is your prakriti. If it is more kapha, then definitely you can have methi.
How can we make face mask with turmeric, triphala, and neem powder?
So what you can do, take mainly 1 tablespoon of triphala, add quarter tea or half teaspoon of turmeric powder in it, and just pinch or 2 pinches of neem, and just add some warm water and 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, and then apply it on the face. And that will help you a lot. And if you have some masoor dal powder, the flour, then add 1 teaspoon of that masoor dal flour in that, because masoor being very astringent in taste, you will really see your skin tone improves a lot with that.
Where do we get neem powder?
You will get it in the Indian store. They have kind of one section of all these Ayurvedic herbs, and you can get it neem, licorice, guduchi, they call giloy powder and all. Many of these powders are available in the Indian store. Or you can call my office, or there is one Herbs Forever or Banyan Botanical. There are so many. If you do Google search, you will find it. So Hema, it's already almost, it's already 5:31.
5:30.
So we will kind of stop. And I
Yes.
just want to remind everybody on 27th of June, I'm going to talk about diabetes through the eyes of Ayurveda. And I will send all of you the email about it. So you will know how to register for that. And then you can join every month. I'm going to talk about different issues. So if you want to learn something new, I would strongly recommend join us every month. And I will also remind you, this is the season, this should be the lifestyle and all that as a reminder for you that you can follow this thing. And few of you have already donated the money. Thank you very much. I've sent the ebook to most of them. And if you really want to donate for the good cause, then still there is time, you can do that. And once I charge you, I will send you the ebook. So that will be a good reminder and a reference book for you. Okay, and I want to thank all of you and also Hema for doing the job, and all of you for attending it. Very, very important. I hope you learned something new and you will change your health and your well-being and all. I see Veena raising the hand. Veena, you have a question?
Yeah, I have one quick question. My tongue gets white in the morning, and it is called as geographic tongue or something, get the pattern.
Okay, that pattern means your digestion is not good. See,
Okay.
if that white more is in the middle, that means your small intestine is some issue. If the back third has white coating, that means colon is the issue. And if you have the white coating on the front third, then your stomach has some issue.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
that-
based on that,
Yeah.
you can use different spices in your food.
Okay, because the pattern is on the lateral side of the
So
tongue.
mainly just try Triphala first. That will help you cleanse better. And
Okay.
add a little bit more ginger powder in your food. That will also help.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes. Yes.
And Veena has one question. Last question.
Oh. What can I do for thyroid problem?
Okay. For that, call me at the office. We'll talk about it.
Okay, all right. Thank
And
you.
also, I will one month I will talk about thyroid health and all. So you will get the
Okay.
idea what to do and all. Okay. So
Okay,
namaste to all, and thank you
Namaste.
very much.
Thank
I
you so
really
much.
appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And
Thank you very much,
all the
doctor.
best.
Yes.
All the best to
I
you.
want to join that,
Thank
and
you, Dr.
I want ebook also.
Thank you.
I'll send you the yes.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.